Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you guys can see, we are in the third bay. We will be going outside working on the truck very shortly. In the previous video, you guys will have seen that we had a leaky water pump, basically that connection between the water pump and the oil cooler. That tube, you guys will know that we had that repair completed last week. Coincidentally, you guys will know that we had to take out this boost tube, and I ended up breaking one of the hose clamp, the T-clamp that goes over the silicone pipe for the intercooler piping. So it's kind of a good thing, bad thing. So bad thing is I'm waiting for T-clamps. I had to order them. They would take a couple days. The good thing is I actually had a mod to go on the truck that actually required you to remove that tube. So it's kind of a blessing in disguise maybe. And that modification that we're doing today is actually the Resonator Delete, basically the little box that says Duramax, as well as a PCV Reroute. Now I'm not going to show you the full reroute because there's many ways you can do it, but we're going to show you the hard parts and basically what you need to do it. So let's go ahead and get started. So here are the PCV Reroute bits. We got this from PPE Performance. This was, I want to say it was like $25, something like that. Ordered on Amazon, got in a couple days. This part is the Resonator Delete. This is going to be from ICT Billet, and the part number on this is going to be 551503. And then the PCV plug is going to be basically part number 551506. And as you can see, it's just a little piece of billet aluminum. And then you've got your 5/8. Basically what it is, it's 5/8 heater hose, and you're going to plug that into the PCV system. Now, there's many ways you guys could do the PCV reroute. You can run open pipe, you can tie it to a breather filter, you can tie it to a catch can. I will say this, if you do decide to run a catch can, be careful, because I've seen a couple horror stories on the Duramax forums, as well as the other various Duramax websites, as well as some videos on YouTube where guys put in I don't know if it was vented or a sealed catch can. I think it was actually from Mighty Mouse. And basically guys blew out seals, had performance issues, stuff like that. Let's go ahead, we're gonna get the truck torn apart. And the only thing that we might change today is the pieces from ICT Billet. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna like seeing billet aluminum, basically raw aluminum on top of the motor. We may end up painting that today. I'm just not quite sure on that. So that might be the one thing we do a little bit different. And the second thing is, yes, I did spend a little bit more money on buying these parts separately than buying a cheap kit from China. I basically saw a ton of issues with these plugs that go into the upper manifold. And I saw review after review on Amazon and eBay saying that the cheap Chinese parts didn't fit. I actually saw a video where a guy stuck the Resonator Delete in, and it almost went all the way through down into the turbo. Like, it was not machined right. And I've bought parts from ICT Billet in the past, you know, LS parts. I've had no issues with them, so kind of why we went with ICT Billet. All right, so you're gonna need a Torx T30, and you'll be able to get this main bolt loose. It's, like I said, it's not very tight, so we'll get this pulled out, and basically the resonator should pop right off. We've got the bolt out. This should lift off, like I said. Now, mine probably was not the proper torque, but basically, I think what we're gonna do is I think we're gonna take the surround off here. We'll loosen this hose clamp, and we'll slide the Resonator Delete right in. All right, the next step is gonna grab your 8mm socket, and you're basically gonna loosen up this hose clamp. All right, so we got that adapter taken off. We do have the ICT Billet cap. If you guys don't put the O-rings in, it will just slide right in and won't stay seated. But with the O-rings in, you guys will see you will need to press this in with just a little bit of force. Yeah, kind of like I said earlier, kind of like I was thinking, I am actually going to end up painting this and the other plug black. I think it just stands out a little bit too much. And if you guys don't recognize this, this is not the LLY turbo mouthpiece. This is actually the LBZ. I upgraded that several years ago. We'll have a video to that link up above. So let's go ahead. We'll get this primed and painted. Then we'll go ahead and get started on the PCV stuff as well. All right, guys, we have our pieces taped off. I've cleaned them up, and we've got some just Rust-Oleum primer. And we're basically just gonna do 2 light coats of primer, and then we're gonna hit it with this SEM trim black. Alright guys, the primer has fully dried. I probably let it dry too long, but that's fine. We do have our SEM flat trim black. It's not a complete flat, it is kind of a semi-flat. And we're going to go ahead and paint our ICT caps. Alright, to start the PCV Reroute project, you guys can see there is a hose clamp here in the middle. I've already taken that off and moved it up the rubber hose. And basically what we're going to do is we're going to lift up on this whole assembly, and that'll give us the room to put in the plug right there. And then we're going to go ahead and get started on the passenger side and driver side cylinder heads. So let's get this popped off and we'll be ready for the other. Alright, so I did get that hose clamp loose, but you need to actually take off either maybe one or both of the sides of the PCV valve. If you guys can see right here, we have a 10mm socket on this bolt, and as you guys can see, it's directly below the boost tube. So I see why people say you have to remove that intercooler pipe. Like I said earlier, now we can go ahead, remove this, and it's kind of good thing we got multiple projects going on today, and one allowed us to do the other. So all right guys, I managed to get the PCV hose loose. Like I said, I just ended up putting a screwdriver under the mounting tab, pulled up, we were able to get that. Alright guys, we did get the bolt out on the passenger side. That's that score in the middle. There's a 10mm bolt on top. We've taken that out. We're basically going to pry up from the little mounting tab, and yeah, hopefully pulling that out will give us enough room to get the middle out, and then we can go ahead and remove this PCV tool. Alright guys, you'll see we do have the second hole there. We did get the PCV tube removed, and you'll see the hole down in the block. That's where this PPE fitting is going to go. I actually have already done the passenger side, so just put a little bit of engine assembly lube on here, stick it down here, and use the factory bolt, tighten everything down. Alright, so you can see we have the PPE PCV billet piece put in, and now we're just tightening the OEM 10mm bolt. There's not really a torque spec on here. I'd say just get it nice and tight, because I think this housing is aluminum, so be careful, and it's a very small bolt. So get that tight, should be good to go with the PPE billet piece install. Alright guys, you'll see that we got our two caps installed. We got the resonator piece as well as the PCV piece, and both of those came from ICT Billet. And like I said, just a couple coats of paint should be good. And so that's actually it for today's video. We installed a lot of billet pieces. I wasn't expecting to put as much billet aluminum in this vehicle as I have the other ones, but that is what it is. The ICT pieces went right in. Like I said, I did have to use a bit of lube on the O-rings because they do want to be pretty tight, so that fit without issue. And the PPE performance pieces, put a little bit of lube on the rings like I was telling you. Those slid in just fine. Now I know the way we did this install was a little bit different than what other people do. It was a little bit more expensive because I didn't go with the Chinese kit. But all these billet pieces are made in America. Everything fit just fine. And like I said earlier, I did see a ton of complaints on those Chinese pieces. They don't fit and stuff like that. So that's gonna be it for today's video. We do have a couple more truck videos coming up, so if you want to see that, hit that subscribe button, turn on your bell notification. And if you guys want to help support the channel, I'll have links down below to the PPE pieces. I think I'll be able to get you one of the ICT billet. I had to buy the small billet plug separately from eBay, so it's kind of weird that Amazon carried the resonator but not the PCV plug. So and if you guys also want to help support the channel, check out the website BonecrrusherSS.com. Thanks guys, have a great one.